How's it going? I'm Joseph Tanner. I'm the account manager.
I'm Kyle Gay, and I am the media planner.
I'm Alicia Turton, and I'm the research planner.
Our fourth group member is Chris Wilkins. He was the creative, and together we make up Jack of all trades.
Okay, so purpose, and what is the purpose of this campaign? So just start off a little something about ourselves. Jack of all trades is actually an acronym made with all of our names. The name is meant to show that we're capable of doing everything together. Jack of all trades is a student advertising agency with the intention of providing clients a fresh new branding service. With 4 young and eager team members, we exercise an original spin on a traditional agency operation. We also have a strong focus on digital marketing and advertising, and our brand specializes in exposure for new products, operating with modest budgets. And we've created this campaign with kind of these things in mind. And really the whole purpose of this campaign is to implement cognitive drawing into mainstream homeschooling art curriculum.
So this pitch is going to provide you with information about the research and methods and findings, the demographic and psychographics of our target audience, objectives of the campaign, the big idea which our campaign revolves around, our media strategies, and evaluation methods. So to have a better understanding on how to market the book, we conducted some research on the industry of homeschooling. So we found that 2 million children are in the homeschooling system. Art already is declining in public schools, and therefore it's becoming less accessible for the homeschoolers because of the limited resources it already has. And that homeschoolers, in order to graduate, need 120 to 180 art credited hours, which they mark themselves. Our efforts to penetrate the homeschooling curriculum market involve the use of 3 different digital media strategies intended to create awareness around the new workbook.
So the first thing we did in this campaign is we started trying to find different ways just to get research, and we decided to have a couple different methods. We had a couple different surveys that we put out on different platforms on Facebook. We put a survey out on Lubbock Homeschool Network, homeschool page, which has around 2,000 followers. We were able to also conduct an interview with a former homeschool parent and students. We also were able to get some secondary research as well, and I'll get into that. From some of the secondary research, just to start off, is we were able to figure out that 68% of homeschoolers are in suburban areas. 59% of those kids are considered Caucasian, while 26 are Hispanic. So we thought that between those two demographics, that's a significant amount. And then, like we have here, it says more than half are in 6th through 12th grade. That also goes into a lot of our primary research that we were able to conduct. We were able to find out through our surveys that actually 100% of everyone that answered our survey was female, and over 50% of those were women, 31 to 41 years old. So we thought that was a really good target audience to really go after at first. Those are 2 things that we were able just to narrow down our view to. And like Alicia said, there are 2 million kids in the homeschool system, while that's only 3.4% of all children that are in schools in America. And we think that while that looks like a small number, 3.4, we see it as a big opportunity to kind of make our name for ourselves in a very niche market.
Okay, so after we finished our research, we came to the conclusion of what our target audience really is going to be, and we actually came up for a name for our target audience, and that is the education pioneers, since a lot of these people in our target audience are real early adapters in homeschooling communities. So the education pioneers are homeschooling mothers 31 to 41 with multiple children. They're mothers who are willing to go the extra mile and challenge their children outside the classroom. They're also really active in digital communities, and they're willing to find new forms of education for their children. And the education pioneers are just willing to try non-traditional learning methods to broaden their children's creativity and horizons. And these are going to be the objectives of our campaign. And there's really only 4 of them, and they're pretty simple. So our first objective is to sell Cognitive Drawings 1,000 workbooks before the 5th month of our campaign, which will be the final month. Our second objective is to increase awareness of the new product by reaching at least 100,000 impressions with a 0.005 conversion rate on social media by the 5th month of our campaign. And don't let that 0.005 conversion rate confuse you. It's really simple. For every 100,000 impressions that we get on social media, we want 500 workbooks to be sold through those impressions. And our third objective is to sell 500 workbooks through sponsorships of blogs and YouTube channels by the 5th month of our campaign. And our fourth and final objective is to have at least 700 different link clicks directed to Cognitive Drawing's website by the end of our campaign.
So the big idea that our campaign revolves around is the desire to learn art does not have to be restricted to a traditional classroom setting. We want to implement the idea that art homeschooling can be affordable. After doing some secondary research, we found that art courses for homeschoolers can be upwards of $300. We want to get the idea out into the market that the homeschooling does not always have to be an expensive class. The big idea influenced our strategy and the tone that we want to pull off with a welcoming, active, and fun tone. Also, the big idea has tangibly fit into our designs for the ads that portray our message to the audience. Overall, the message to bring the teacher to you at an affordable price is going to be throughout the campaign because parents really consider these things when looking for a curriculum.
Getting to the media strategy, the first media strategy that we're going to hit on is our blog post that we're looking to do. So when we were doing some research, one of the things we found is that one of the most influential and common ways that our homeschooling parents are getting their information and ideas for their homeschoolers are through blogs. And we kind of decided that this is also where those education pioneers and those early adapters are really going to be. These are the people, the parents that are kind of actively looking for the next thing or the thing that's going to be the most beneficial or best tailored to their kid. So we thought that we would do maybe a couple things on the blog. One, and probably the most common, would be cost per click advertising. We want to have a digital ad on the side or in the middle or wherever it might fit on the website, whatever the blog may be. Using Google Ads, we could set a limit. If we just, for an easy sake, we had $1,000 over a 2-month period, 60-day period. A click, we could set a limit to about $16.39 a day for that 60 days, which would average us about 65.6 impressions or clicks a day, which we thought could be something that could raise the awareness quite well as some reviews by these bloggers, since they have pretty influential following that will really help our brand image, but Kyle's going to get into that a little more later. This is kind of an ad or example conceptual image of what the digital ad may look like. Obviously, it's subject to change, but this is kind of what we thought might stand out kind of on the website, grab people's attention. It would be attached with a link to take us to the Cognitive Drawing website. So here's just a little preview of what that digital ad may look like.
So the second media strategy is the implementation of social media advertisements. More specifically, the implementation of a carousel ad on Facebook. We figured that Facebook would be a good social media to use because our target audience of ages between 31 to 41 females, that's the primary social media that they use. So as I said earlier, the type of advertisement is described as a carousel ad. Carousel ads allow you to post up to 10 images in a row, and it's more of an interactive click through advertisement. So the route we're going to take for our ad is a ABC approach. We're going to show 3 posts showing the progression of the book and the drawings within the advertisement itself. And the idea behind this advertisement is that it will appeal to mothers who are wanting to expand their children's creativity by showing them what progress can be made and how the drawing is done in the workbook. So for the cost, we are going to spend $2,500, which we are going to pay at the beginning. The cost is between 1 cent and 3 cents per view to promote the ad. After doing some calculations, we predicted that we can get between 83,000 to 250,000 views with our budget of 2,500. And then for the ad, this is what the ad is going to look like. The carousel ad provides the audience with an interactive way to learn more about the product. Taking a look at the ad, you get a better idea of what cognitive drawing is. The ad shows a simplified version on how to draw. It shows the bigger shapes that you make before you finish the final outline product of the body part. The click-through posts are designed to show the progression of the book, as I said earlier. And the questions on each post entice the audience to click through and find the answers, which will result in the cognitive drawing logo at the end. Also, the Facebook post is going to feature a link which will take them to the website which they can purchase the book.
So our third and final media strategy involves the implementation of influencer marketing, specifically through blogs and YouTube. We initially really looked for education-based influencers that focus on curriculum that parents can pass on to their children. And in our search, we found a YouTube channel that really fit with our education pioneers and our campaign budget. And that was a YouTube channel called Homeschool On. And it's just a lifestyle YouTube page created by Rebecca Spooner that focuses on the intricacies of homeschooling, curriculum planning, and the craziness of being a parent with your kids at home all the time. Homeschool On's primary viewers are kind of just homeschooling mothers that really do fit into our target audience of education pioneers. And what we want to do is sponsor at least one Homeschool On YouTube video with a promotional 1-minute script reading. And ideally, this will be at the beginning of the video, but really that is up to the discretion of the content creator. And the Homeschools On has just over 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. And through our research, we found that this typically, like a sponsorship for a YouTube channel of this size, typically costs around $300 to $400 per sponsored video. But prices may vary depending on the content creator and the length of the script and sponsorship. But generally, it's going to cost around that much. And then another form of influencer marketing that we thought could benefit cognitive drawing's exposure is paid reviews from blogs. And this typically does cost around $300 to $500, again, depending on the size and scope of the blog. But we thought this would be a really good way to kind of get a more in-depth description of what cognitive drawing is all about. And we hope that through these blog posts, we can be a real foundation for a positive brand image. And with our limited budget, these sponsorships really do help. And another thing that we can do is find blogs with really small followings and just send them free copies of cognitive drawing, asking to do reviews and to see if cognitive drawing fits within their personal homeschooling curriculum, and just asking very kindly and nicely, like, hey, is this something you would be willing to review because you think it benefits your children in their homeschooling or curriculum? And then you can kind of see these are what these influencer pages, YouTube video or YouTube channels and blogs look like.
So the budget and timeline presented in this slide is a more in-depth summary of the media strategy costs. The final evaluations will be conducted after the 5th month of the campaign, but we believe that the first 3 months are critical in order to meet our objectives and have therefore elaborated on this. To get a bigger picture of what this is, we have put it in the assets folder in order to look through, see the costs, and see the implementation of the campaign throughout the first 3 months.
So for our key performance indicators for our campaign, we have 4 that align directly with our campaign objectives. And so our first KPI involves the tracking of cognitive drawings book sales, and just keeping track of monthly sales, and checking them to determine if the amount of books sold each month aligns with the sales goal that we initially put out. Our second KPI is is to use Facebook Ads Manager to determine if impressions and sales goals are satisfied. And there is a free class online that you can take to learn how to use Facebook Ads Manager, or you could pay someone to do this for you. That's really up to you. And our third KPI is to use a third-party link tracking tool such as AdsBridge to see how many workbooks were sold through specified links that would be attached to these blog posts or video sponsorships. And our fourth KPI is pretty similar to the last one. It's to utilize a third-party link tracking tool such as AdBridge to track the amount of direct links from potential customers to Cognitive Drawing's website.
So overall, we think that with a unique and all-around product like Cognitive Drawing, we should be able to find success in this market, in the smaller market, by focusing on those pioneers. We think that Cognitive Drawing will not only stick out for our campaign and what we believe we can do for it, but also just because of what's in the book, in the content itself. We think that once these pioneers get a good look and understanding of what it is, they'll feel nothing but inclined to try it out, especially because this is such a unique and opportune thing for their children with getting the homeschool credit hours. We think that overall this campaign mixed with the already good concept of Cognitive Drawing will be successful. And that concludes this presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.